Are you ready to listen to a podcast?
Here comes the Playhouse Podcast, thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices.
Find, subscribe, and listen.
Today is a First Thoughts Thursday, so welcome in. If you ever got something you want to toss at us, a lot of ways to get a hold of us. Call, text, hit us with a DM or an email. And usually if you text us or hit us with a DM, we'll be like, hey, do you want to come on the show? And that's kind of what happened with Haley here.
So when we get salacious First Thought Thursdays, we can't turn them down. So she is on. And we're ready to hear what's going on with you.
Break down the neighbor situation, will you, Haley?
So I just moved into this new apartment building, and I have this neighbor that is just raising her kids terribly.
How do you think she's raising her kids horribly?
Well, I see them all the time, and she just rewards them with candy and food for everything they do. Like, their whole motivation is just food and candy. And these kids are getting morbidly obese, like very, very large kids. Like, you think they'd be on a reality show.
Oh, man.
Okay. More and more to get them to do anything. It's terrible.
Well, if you think about it, that is child abuse when you know that you're doing something that will prevent the children from being successful and healthy. I mean, it's not hitting them or anything like that, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, it's awful. Even the other neighbors have noticed it. I've heard people talking about it. And I mean, they have all these dogs that are also just like gaining a bunch of weight and just like they don't get taken out for walks enough. And it's a bad situation. So I need to know what to do. Like, should I butt in?
No. I don't want to, pee in the pool here, but you got to watch your bobber, don't you?
So I have a parallel analogy. You don't crap where you eat. I really wouldn't go after somebody I live right next door to. You know what I mean? But I see exactly what she's saying. Like, you see somebody, they obviously love their kids.
When you want to help the kids have a good life, right?
Exactly.
We just got off the phone with Haley, who said basically, here's the deal. These kids, I moved into a new apartment. These kids that live next to us, I see mom and dad rewarding them with candy all the time. And the text that got our attention is she said, I believe these people are going to end up on a TLC show.
She sees the kids getting morbidly obese. The dogs are getting fat. Nobody's watching the dogs or walking them. And she's just like, I feel for these kids. I feel like it's not going to be a good position to be in. 1572 says, I'm a social worker. It's a child abuse. Absolutely call CPS anonymously. CPS is a tricky road to travel because the parents, I feel, are always wrong straight out the gate. I honestly feel like that. It's scary. It's scary to have those three letters even spoken about.
This is heavy. And Haley basically said, do I butt in here? Dan, what do you think, man?
Just listening to it, really honestly, this is just me, but it's none of your business.
I'm most of the time that way, but then I also think these are little kids too. Sometimes they don't know better. You know what I mean? Like, what little kid doesn't want a Twinkie?
We had someone call in a while ago. It was a topic that we did, and it was her neighbor, and he would make his kids run around the house for exercise and wouldn't let them stop until he felt like they were fit enough. I mean, that was
the other extreme, huh?
Made me feel really icky. This one from Steven says, instead of butting in, why don't you buy the kids bikes? That's not her job, Steven. She doesn't have to buy these kids bicycles. That's going above and beyond. These are still not your kids.
Not right, not wrong. It's a First Thought Thursday. Jen, what's your first thought when you heard this?
Honestly, I'm a nurse, so I'm mandated to call CPS because of that.
Yeah.
But personally, I would just hand them like a dietitian's number and be like, I really think this would be a good idea for your kids, maybe.
So what would you do if you did like an anonymous letter in the mailbox? You put the dietary pamphlets in there, and you said, you know.
I think Kat's really afraid that there's going to be blowback from the other person's parents if you butt into their kids' lives.
This is where you live.
Oh, of course there is. Yeah. Every person that has children is going to say, how dare you tell me how to raise my children? Right. And I can understand that. But at the same time, like, is it a healthy, happy home for you to be in, or should somebody come in and be like, okay, we need to find some adjustments?
It sounds like these parents are very loving. She didn't say they're nasty parents. They just maybe don't know how to balance out the appropriate and healthy behavior.
This is interesting. Cassie had texted and she said CPS would rule this out and they would go nowhere.
That's very true, because it's not an actual like abuse or neglect situation. how the parents are, rewarding their kids. So they're just having an issue with how to reward their kids properly.
I would say that I would agree there. There's probably not a level of it's technically abuse if you're over 8,000 calories a day or something like that, right? Like there's no number there. So I think there's probably a hard line.
I also think it's kind of the school's responsibility as well. A lot of kids cannot count on a really good home life.
On teachers?
Yeah, no, like one specific dietary teacher. I think that this would be a really great unit to have in school. Not only does it teach the kids that are overeating, it's going to teach the girls and boys that have an obsession about their weight and take in way little calories. It would teach them how to appropriately take in the caloric intake.
You see how all the programs are getting cut in schools. You know what I mean? Like
it's sad. It's a necessary
bananas.
one.
We've got the richest country in the world, well, one of the richest countries in the world, and we don't put any money towards schools. So I don't see that happening anytime soon.
It's easy to feed yourself and your kids crap food because it's so cheap.
Hey, Jen, without getting into weeds that you can't talk about, as a nurse, can you explain a little bit more of like what you have to say? Like if you see what you have to say something.
So if you're seeing bruises that are unexplained or multiple different times, multiple fractures, different healing, that kind of stuff, parents say, oh, they, fell down or they were riding their bike. It's pretty obvious for some of those like physical abuse ones.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of signs for emotional and mental abuse that we're trained to look for. And some of them are really hard to decipher. Some are, noisy kids, they're now quiet. Quiet kids are now acting out.
Yeah,
they're
they could
afraid
just be
of
having a bad day, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's hard to determine a lot of the time. But as a mandated reporter, even just in notifying CPS about something like that, even if you're totally wrong, like the kid fell down the stairs or whatever, just notifying them and letting them know that you think something suspicious is going on and nothing shows of that, fine. But if they find something that's going on that they should have been notified before, well, who's going to get in trouble because that kid's been harmed and nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Which
get that.
is why teachers are mandated too.
Gotcha. All right. Well, good. I'm glad you could give some clarity. I appreciate everything you're doing. Thanks for being part of the show.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Take
I
care.
listen to you guys all the time. Have a great morning.
You're the best.
Thank you.
So much.
There's nothing
Thoughts
else on
a First Thought Thursday.
Radio Paparazzi.
Uncle Joms, Julia Fox, that is the woman that was just like quickly in Kanye's life, and they were everywhere. This whirlwind romance for
She
35
looked just
days.
like Kim Kardashian, right?
No, this is the
that's
one
the
now.
other one. Okay.
Her name is Cheney or something like that. But yeah, she's like a thicker version of Kim. She's like the Wish you order on Amazon and you order on Wish. I'm just kidding. I shouldn't say that because she's very beautiful. But Julia Fox is talking about how she's like high.
I mean, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. It kind of it was like hitting a reset button. It kind of brought a spark into my life that I had kind of forgotten about. I don't even have the time to like brush my hair. I can't. If I meet someone, yes, I'm not gonna. If nature plays its course and someone comes along, I'd be more than happy to entertain it. But I'm not looking for anything.
Are you still in touch with Kanye at all?
We're still friends, yes. But
Okay. Speaking of Kanye, recently held a listening party in Miami for his 11th album, Donda 2, named after his mom. But he ended up throwing the microphone down because he was so upset.
It wasn't about the sound. It was the fact that one thing I was told is that I had to write the word performance on the piece. But what I was giving you guys is performance art. I did these listening sessions. When I dropped my album, I put a mask on. It was an installation. They basically forced me to mix Taco Bell and KFC. So right when I did the song and I saw myself grabbing this mic and it wasn't my original idea, I was like, I'm going to throw this mic. Why am I doing this? I'm in control of me. They have the ability to sell out a stadium, 50,000 seats in 5 days, and then to be told by a promoter, still grab that mic, boy. I ain't grabbing the mic if I don't have to grab the mic. I'm mad.
What promoter has that big of
Pull?
Yeah, that they can tell Kanye, grab the mic, boy.
I think we can all agree, though, that Taco Bell and KFC together would be
Sounds
pretty
delicious,
amazing.
yeah.
Zoe Kravitz, she is Catwoman in the new Batman that opens this weekend. Everybody very excited about it. But, she went full method to prepare for this.
Now, if I was cast as Catwoman,
which you still might be.
I was on the list.
Still young, Jimmy.
My agent called me as well. I was so nervous. I was like, oh my God. But I would study cats.
I did that.
I would drink milk out of a bowl.
I did that.
You did not.
I did.
You drank milk out of a bowl?
Maybe.
No. Oh my God. Remember when Liam would demand his water in a bowl on the ground? Do you remember that when he was going through his dog phase?
I don't at all.
Derek goes, please stop doing
Sure,
this.
you want to be talking about this right
He got home, and he was like 2, but he got home and he was like, why is the bowl on the ground again? And I would just always give in because my baby was so adorable, and he's like, and he would want water in a bowl on the ground. It was cute. Kind of got to be there. Blowing out their candles today, we have Camila Cabello.
This is why I shame your kid.
Yeah, I can't believe he's cooler than you will ever be.
I've never drank out of water on a bowl, water in a bowl on the ground.
Everyone's got a pass. Jessica Biel is 40 today.
Tell me about the Airbnb.
Okay, so this story came out, and it is something I constantly think about whenever we're thinking about traveling and staying at an Airbnb. You want to save some money, maybe VRBO. It really is the way to go. But the owners of the property probably feel like they have every right to videotape certain areas of the house to make sure that things stay the way that they had them. This guy, however, didn't do that in the sense that he wanted to make sure his property was safe. He just wanted to creep on people, this girl.
He takes out his iPhone, flashes the light, and he sees a lens coming back at him. And instantly, you can feel the fear.
This is as strange and disturbing as any I've ever had. There's thousands of photos.
So this guy named Jay had a secluded cabin outside of San Antonio that he had been renting to people on Airbnb for 9 months or longer. He had over 2,100 images of people in various states of undressed, also different compromising positions. You're on vacation. You're feeling like sexy time, maybe. And now it's all out there. And how, violated do you feel? And he had it just right there out in the open, but it was inside what looked like a power adapter. So it was definitely hidden. It was a hidden camera. It wasn't something where you'd go, oh, we're being watched. We better be on our best behavior.
My old man always said out of sight, out of mind. So we have security cameras at our cabin, but they're on the front door and they're big and you can see them and they light up when somebody gets within range. You know what I mean? So my thought is, number one, you're going to know you're on camera, but it's not like in the bedroom. You know what I mean? But then like I said, we VRBO our cabin when we're not there. And I think, it wouldn't be hard to set up any kind of recording device anywhere in there. There are a million little nooks, and you can even get. I saw, probably was on a Facebook ad, but you can get a cell phone charger. You know the block you plug into the wall.
Yeah.
That and then you plug the cord into that. That has a little camera in it, and it sees everything. It's a wide angle lens. It is. Cameras come in almost everything right now.
When you signed up for your VRBO to be on that website and get your cabin out there, were there certain rules that you had to abide by? You can't do certain things.
There's millions of pages of paperwork. I don't think everybody reads them, but
there has to be something about surveillance.
Yeah, well, I put out there. Hey, there's cameras on the front door.
Okay,
you know what I mean? That's very clear to all the people that are going to stay there. But man, can you imagine? You go in there and hey, everybody's sleeping. You got your flashlight, right? You're going to make sure nobody wakes up. You're not turning on all the lights, and all of a sudden you see a glimmer from something, and you're like, look at that. Somebody's been videotaping us the whole time.
So I want to we could do. Have you ever found a camera that should not have been there? Or when did surveillance like this actually help you out? I would love for James to call in because he texted that it actually worked in his favor, that having a camera up busted somebody doing something that they shouldn't have. But when it comes to surveillance cameras, did it work in your favor, or did you find one and somebody got in trouble?
Imagine you're staying at an Airbnb or VRBO and you notice that there's a camera as part of a power adapter, and they start doing the research. They find out there's over 900 images of people like you changing their clothes on that camera.
So I can't speak for all women, but I'm going to. It's something that's always in my mind wherever I go.
Should
it's like
be.
those icky guys that'll put the surveillance little tiny cameras under the toilet seat to watch girls pee.
Or
You know
how
what I
about the
mean?
guys
Like,
that put them on their shoes and then do like the
Yes.
upskirt videos?
ew.
Gross.
David, they're everywhere. And this guy had been doing it for 9 months, had this secret camera, but I shouldn't say secret. It was out in the open, yet it was disguised
But it
as like
was
a power
secret.
adapter. Yeah. And he had so many images downloaded of his guests and Airbnb. They are very upset. So have you ever had a surveillance situation where either you caught somebody surveying you or it worked in your favor, like you busted somebody like a thief?
Yeah, Crystal, which end are you on here?
So it was my sister, and she rented an apartment, and they had a lot of trouble with the landlord to begin with. Like, he'd show up in their apartment without their permission.
Ooh.
And one day they changed the locks on my sister, so she had the cops come and let her in. And the cops literally found cameras and cords coming through the heater vents in every room in her apartment.
They just started looking around and
And
they
then-
noticed them, huh?
Yep, and then they tried to evict her, and she is the only person I've ever known to win an eviction court because of the cameras being in there.
Why would she want to stay there, though?
She didn't. She just wanted her deposit back so she could go somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
They weren't going to give her any of her money back, and she ended up winning and got all of her rent that she had paid back and her deposit.
What about the images? What about the cameras? What happened there?
They said that the cameras were not connected to the cords so that he didn't get any images, but the fact that they were still there.
There was
kind of
intent.
trippy. I don't know.
Yeah, there was
Right.
intent, and he could probably easily just plug something in and everything would be up and working. Did he do that to anybody else's apartment or just hers?
Did they go through the rest of them?
She was renting the basement, and he lived upstairs.
Also,
it
it wasn't like a
the only
complex?
apartment that he had. Yeah.
Well, I've done my share of remodeling, and I've never. Whoop, you're all right. I've done my share of remodeling, and I've never stuck a camera in any, vents or heat
I wonder what
registers.
goes
or
through your
anything like
mind.
that.
Like, do you realize the consequences that will have if found?
You know
Jail
what?
time.
If they weren't connected, they probably were with the previous tenant, though. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it would be worse trying to figure out who that was. Scary stuff. Hey, thanks for
Right.
sharing.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Have a good day. Now, I do want to keep this a little bit anonymous because I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but I know we got a college situation here. Go ahead. Tell us what you were saying before.
Okay, so I was a manager for a local college facility, and one of our employees, he was cleaning the offices, and one of the offices just so happened to have a camera in it, and he had his headphones on, and he was just singing out loud, recorded the audio and everything, and he is just singing his heart out. Not a bad voice.
Okay.
And stealing stuff out of their drawers.
Oh, man.
So I had to sit down with the local, the board members and everything and review the footage over and over and over and just keep watching him singing out loud while he's digging through their drawers stealing stuff. The funny part was that he didn't know there was a camera there, and he is just singing away, and I don't know what he was singing, but overall, the only thing positive they had to say was he doesn't have a bad voice.
There it is. This happened to me. Thank you for your call, by the way. This happened to me at a radio station I was working at a long time ago in my career, one of my first jobs. The general manager noticed that he always had like spare change he would throw in his top desk drawer. You know what I mean? Like dollar bills or spare change, anything that was less than probably like a 5 or a 10. And he noticed, because he would use it for like the vending machine at work, and he noticed that it was like really low. And so what he did is he put a camera in his office.
Yeah.
And we caught the cleaning crew going through his drawers almost every night trying to snag some coin. And they would take the bills and they would leave the change. Take the bills, leave the change.
So when I was 14, 15, I worked at my mom's school, and I was always hungry. You go through those growth spurts, and I knew that Nancy always had ramen, top ramen, and just a bunch of snacks. And I would just steal from her all the time. I would grab that. I can't imagine if they had cameras
Where is
back
she
then.
now?
It
Can we
would
call
be-
and apologize to her?
I think she retired. So yeah,
That would be good.
we can look back and laugh and laugh and laugh.
Let's begin now.
Oh my God, did I have the coolest experience yesterday that I didn't think was going to happen. You know when you get shocked by somebody's niceness?
Mm-hmm.
This happened yesterday. So, hanging out with Trish at the hospital, and my son is going to be kind of babysitting the house for about part of our vacation, and we needed groceries, right? So, shortest groceries. She goes, hey, can you grab groceries on the way home? No problem. I'll stop and get them. Pre-orders at Coburn's. I swing in, I called the little number. Hey, I'm here to get groceries. The lady's like, oh, yeah, I'll be right there. Cool. She comes out. She's got all the bins kind of stacked up. And I go, hey, can I give you a hand? And I open up the back door of the truck. She goes, that would be so great. Thank you so much. She goes, here's a bottle of water. Thank you for waiting. And she gives me the receipt. And she starts unpacking and kind of giving me the stuff.
Yeah.
And as she was my personal shopper, but I can't read what her name was. You thought it was maybe Doris, and I thought it was maybe Chris. But I wish she would have. They signed this little thank you note that says
very illegible.
We did our personal shopping for you, and probably not expecting to get a shout out on the radio.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say, Colburns, you guys are doing it right. As she came,
you should call that particular Colburns though and say, that's what I do. If I get somebody that is really amazing that checks me out, I'll say whoever's on Register 5 killed it.
And it was a shocker, and it was above and beyond. You didn't have to grab me a bottle of water and say thanks for waiting. And then everything she handed me, she's like, this should go by that because it's the cold stuff, and this is frozen stuff. And then she had it all bagged out like that.
Yeah.
So it was so easy to unpack when I got home. I was like, you expect to get groceries, and you have a cadence about it.
Yeah.
And this was above and beyond. So to the crew at Colburns on Cooper, thank you. You made my night a whole lot better. How about your day yesterday? What was good about it?
Well, what did I do? I went to Solstice, and I got a vitamin drip. Which
your first one ever, huh?
It was not my first IV, absolutely not. But it was my first vitamin drip, and she put some, and then I got a B12 shot after.
In the butt?
And nope, in the arm. And I felt really good. It wasn't immediate. It was like later on in the evening, but like my body felt like with it, hydrated. And it was really cool. Went to Solstice in Becker and did that. And then I had it was only a half hour. And so I had an hour and a half until Liam got out. So I went and ate lunch in the parking lot of Subway like a loser again.
By yourself.
And then went to Dollar General, found some Easter decor. So that was pretty cool. I actually found 4 grass bunnies, and they're really cool. That was my exciting life yesterday.
This is the life we live, guys. When we get off the air,
yeah.
Here's what it is. I'm going to get a B12 shot and go to Dollar General.
Yep.
I went and picked up groceries instead of the hospital all day.
That Subway was I've never eaten in my life. That's how hungry I was. There was lettuce all over my chest. Liam's like, where were you?
It just unveiled were the top 10 unique dog names. I'm not going to go through the top 10, but can I give you the top 3?
Yeah.
These are unique dog names. Apple Strudel.
Okay. I feel like that has to be a poodle.
Oh, Apple Strudel the poodle. That's great. I didn't think about that. Bubblegum.
Okay.
And the number 1 most unique dog name out there, voted on by you, society, Beetlejuice.
Oh, okay.
Now, I mean, if you name a pet as a kid, that can be pretty fun. But sometimes you come up with a name like Mr. Bojangles. That isn't great. So I grew up, my very first dog was named Dog.
Brilliant.
My old man just didn't want to deal with a name. And the next one was Cherry. And then the next one was Perkins.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we have Addison, who is named after one of the roads that Wrigley Field is on. But our unique pet name is Turkey for our cat.
Yeah, that is odd.
So,
because you got it on Thanksgiving, right?
Right. And she'll high five me and she'll respond to turkey. She's a good kitty.
Does she eat turkey?
Yeah, she actually will. If you take a little slice of turkey and throw it over are we forcing cannibalism?
Yeah.
So unique pet names. That's what I'm looking for today. You had Lacey, what was it?
No, Gracie Lou Freebush, because my mom was a huge fan of Miss Congeniality.
Oh, of course.
And the other ones were all named after Shakespearean characters. Othello. Shakespeare. We had a couple of other ones. And then just plain old Sophie.
Here's what I'm looking for. Do you have a unique pet name? And if so, will you share it with us real quick?
So weird.
Weird stuff. Everybody called me weird. I am weird.
You don't think this is a little weird?
No, I don't think it's weird at all.
Weird news.
All right, so this Florida mom pulls up to get her kid, 2 years old, at this preschool, Nob Hill Academy. Finds out that a teacher there took it upon herself to take his shoes and duct tape them to his little ankles. okay, because he kept trying to take them off.
He was taking his shoes off in class, and for that reason that they had taped his shoes to his ankles to keep his shoes on. We had to actually use scissors because he was actually crying from trying to peel the tape away. I'm just very shocked. I don't understand how that was even a thought to duct tape a child's shoes to their ankle. Even if, he was taking it off, at least let me know this is what's going on.
No, it's a bummer. It could be a really, really great academy,
but they hired a
preschool
idiot.
And you got to count on everybody doing their part and representing your business like that. But
I hate to have to say this, but this is not going to become an abnormal thing in the future. With the workforce being the way it is, and as many jobs out there that, number one, have become entry level, which weren't anymore.
Yeah.
And the amount of people, you're right, taking what they can get as employees instead of having such a screening process before. So many places have a low amount of workforce, and people aren't looking for jobs. The unemployment rate is so low right now. I think people are hiring whoever they can. And unfortunately, there's a large percentage of idiots out there.
The fact that somebody, though, did not intervene, all the people that work around there, I would surely notice if a 2-year-old had his shoes duct taped to his skin.
Jeez.
So that's the alarming part, and that is what's weird. A new survey shows 18 to 54-year-old women find that they expect their man to be just like who they read about in their favorite romance novels.
Oh, God. Don't put that kind of pressure on me.
Yeah. The pressure is stacking up. Better communication, spontaneous romantic gestures, more satisfying lovemaking.
Yeah, I can tell you this. My wife, that's what she reads before she goes to sleep. Is this smutty stuff?
Yeah.
And there'll be days like, whatever. I'll get home from work and I'll see her iPad's laying on the bed and I'll just go to move it and put it back on her nightstand.
Yeah.
And it'll be to whatever she was reading. And I'll look down. I'll be like, y'all are some dirty people that read this stuff.
Does she ever call you a different name like Stefano?
No.
Accidentally
I just
answer?
get page 9. She'll be like, hey, page 9.
What's on page 9? And we're going to be just fine.
It's very graphic. I can't live up to that kind of pressure.
Good luck, guys.
I'm an old man.
Tanya and Chris, they texted in. Tanya says people that feed public ducks should be arrested. I don't even know what a public duck is. But she says it says don't feed for a reason. You're making them lazy and they won't remember how to feed themselves.
I don't think that's it. I think it's because they crap everywhere. Like we used to.
No, that's it. It most of the signs explain why. Like if you go to Lake George, it says do not feed the ducks. It basically says in a nutshell, it'll take away their ability to learn how to
I don't
hunt for
believe
themselves.
That. That's
of course it is.
It is a natural instinct for an animal.
Listen, if they have a dependency on humans bringing bread every single day.
No, they will always remember how to hunt for their food. They're an animal. That is dumb.
We'll see. It's like the people that feed the deer every single day off their porch.
Yep.
And then the deer comes and those people are on vacation and the deer dies of starvation.
It doesn't die. No, that's you're such a
so many times it happens.
That does not happen. You can't even say it with a straight face.
Chris says women that can't pull off oversized hats. My wife should be arrested. Chris,
they look like a pencil.
It really does depend on your head. Like you really have to get a picture from every angle.
Look at this one. 3919. You should be immediately arrested if you get out of your car to hug your kid in the school drop-off line.
Wow, we got a monster at 3919.
Well, it is. It's holding everybody up.
That is true. Liam will take forever. He does the water bottle like he's peeing. And I go, get in the car. We have to go.
This one might be directed at me. You should be immediately arrested if you're a neighbor that consistently lets your dog poop in their yard, in somebody else's yard, and you have to clean it up.
Well, that's damage to property, isn't it? If you let your dog go pee on someone's lawn.
Pee will damage. Poop doesn't damage. The pee will if it's a girl dog pee. How about this one where I'm driving at decent speed and someone is so close to me and that I can see their headlights in my rearview mirror? Arrested.
Yeah. Well, maybe you should move over.
Now imagine you and your friend get some silly string at the dollar store and you're like, oh, we're going to get them. Right after school, you hose down a kid with some silly string and next thing you know, you're in the back of the cop car and you're headed for juvie.
People are very triggered by certain things and feel like it should lead to arrest. Mallory says anybody that uses the word like excessively. My great-grandfather, Don, if you said the word like in a sentence, he would stop you and walk away. He would not tolerate that. He is just big on the English. He's
My
like,
son and all his friends use literally as the every other word they want to go to.
Literally.
And I want to choke choke them all.
Juliana says, if I can very clearly see the color and brand of your underwear because you only have your pants pulled halfway up your butt, you should be
That's
arrested.
still a thing. I don't even see that anymore.
It's annoying. This one from 5527, ordering more than 2 drinks in a Starbucks or Caribou drive-thru. More than 2 drinks need to be ordered inside.
What? Is that
That's
a
why
thing?
they have the 4-drink car holders. I think you can order more than that.
Okay,
But
so what silly thing do you think people should get arrested for?
mine is, and you're going to notice it today, if you go to Chipotle, are the people that don't know what they're going to get. You need to be cuffed. You need to leave the line. I'm ready. You have very few options there. And if you've never been to a Chipotle, you need to wear a special T-shirt.
Here's the
I've
other
never
part
been
about
here.
that is you're in line long enough to learn.
Exactly.
I had a friend who once knew he wasn't going to pass his driver's test and sat at the driver's bureau long enough to memorize the eye chart when people would go up there so that he just kept his eyes closed when he did it.
That's scary.
And read it back. If he can do that, you can figure out your Chipotle order.
A lot of people hate hugs in the pickup line. I had no idea. I've never sat there and hugged my kid in the pickup line. I wait until he gets in the car, but
You got to start doing it now.
I'll notice it now more than ever.
Just
but
to hold I'm telling you, when people hold up the line at school to drop off or pick up, it's an instant trigger. How's Crystal doing today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. It's not illegal, but if you had your way, it would be illegal to what?
So, I mean, I was actually calling about the little kid who got arrested.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put a little bit of input.
Go ahead.
Yeah. But my whole thought is that as adults, if somebody came and grabbed you and they were, a bully, let's just say it was your boss.
Yeah.
And your boss came and he's been just a nasty bully to you, and he comes up, he takes you aside, he's scaring the crap out of you. You're like, oh my gosh, like, what are you doing? Why are you putting your hands on me? And then all of a sudden you brace silly string in your shoe.
Yeah.
You think, yeah, it's funny, but then you think, wait a second, he's my boss and he's been nothing but a bully. Why is he doing this?
Yeah. No, I get that. If we knew the whole backstory, I'm sure that we would have a different opinion. But simply, we only know that 2 kids got arrested for simply spraying another couple of kids on Saturday with silly string. That's all I'm reading. So I don't know the backstory.
Again, it wasn't an atomic wedgie. It wasn't a swirly.
JJ gave a hypothetical earlier.
Yeah,
it wasn't like they manhandled him and beat him up or anything.
And nobody went to the hospital. They just got sprayed with silly string, so they're pressing charges.
So,
are we that soft as a society?
Yeah, that
right
was
now?
just my kind of thought, was if it was serious enough for the cops to believe that they needed to be arrested, then it was probably a little more behind the scenes.
Right.
My daughter has been bullied, and I was bullied, and it might seem harmless, but when you think about it, like even a swirly, like that's really traumatizing.
Right. Do they do swirlies anymore?
It seems harmless.
Why do you think it was more tolerated? Like when I was in elementary school, I bet I saw a swirly a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you would you always went to the bathroom with your crew because you had to have somebody making sure they had your back. I never went to the bathroom alone. I always brought a friend to make sure that somebody wasn't going to jump you and give you a swirly.
You did? That's horrible.
Those sixth graders were when you were in second grade, if they got a hold of you, man, it was game over.
Dang.
But something said, all right. And he always carried a comb, too, because you had to refix your hair after it got dunked in the toilet water.
You brush your toilet hair?
Yeah, you got to brush your toilet hair. So why do you think we tolerated it more and kids nowadays wouldn't? What do you think's the difference there?
We're just saying stuff now.
Mental health awareness.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that's
So you think they could have probably saved me if I'd have had somebody to talk to?
No, I'm saying mental health awareness, so like how all the bully signs, like it's not tolerated because the suicide rates were going up, kids failing grades because of depression and all that stuff. And once they started to bring light to that and they realized how much of an impact bullying itself did on mental health, they had no choice but to stifle the bullying.
That makes sense.
So, I mean, when you bring to light the amount of trauma that it can really cause on somebody, like that show, The 13 Reasons Why.
Yeah, that was a pretty
that's
crazy
huge
show.
one.
Well, thank you for
So
calling.
I think that really brought to light.
I appreciate it very much. We love all angles to any situation that we're talking about, so we appreciate it.
Thanks, Crystal. Have a great day. I saw Amy's text. Using the word whatever to finish an argument should be illegal.
Whatever. The people that still throw cigarettes out the car window.
Oh, who are you? You're wrecking it, man.
A little hamster.
What kind of actual movie experience do you have as far as acting? Did you do plays back in high school?
Oh, so you want my resume? Yeah. Okay, so actually, I really first got my starring role as Levi Strauss in the Levi Strauss Story, Champlain Community Theater, and it was held in a back art room. So really like off Broadway. So that was exciting for me. Got to wear some very ill-fitting, why can't I, overalls. And showed everything.
Wherever this stops, by the way, we've got all these different levels. Some are drama, some are horror, some are comedy, some are holiday. Somebody grease this thing up.
Oh, okay. I could do this.
All right, so it landed on comedy, so grab that script real quick. Again, comedy is the theme.
Okay.
What we do is we just, every time we take one down, so the next time we'll put up a very famous comedy in its spot, but Are you ready to read this? And she's doing all the characters here, guys.
This one's going to hit close to home for you.
First person to name this movie. Action!
She's Got Mail. That's the name of the movie. That's it, honey. With Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan. He didn't have poison ivy up his ass. Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Way up there. Hymns don't cry. No, they don't. And
scene. Now, I have to say, thank you to Brendan, who called in right away, but had to get to work.
You are
I appreciate
correct.
you being patient and getting your prize. Bottom line is it was
the other guys. And you just downloaded it. Congratulations for finally finding time to watch the whole thing.
Well, Kat this has been one of her favorite movies, and like if you're around Kat and her husband Derek, they will quote this just out of like they've got this little inside joke between all of them because they know all the lines to it.
Alan has a new app, Faceback. It's going to catch.
I had only seen parts of it. My favorite part is where doesn't Mark Wahlberg chuck his Little River Band CD out the window, but he's got 5 more of them or something like that?
Yeah. FBI, female body inspector. Do you get it? Do you get why it's funny? I can't believe you're going to watch that on a plane, by the way, because you're going to be belly laughing.
I've never watched the whole thing, so I just downloaded it right now for our flight on Saturday, so I'm excited for it.
Radio Paparazzi.
Not a lot of people know this, including myself until today, but did you know Dax Shepard, who's married to Kristen Bell, once dated Ashley Olsen 16 years ago?
They're sarcastic, just super funny and sarcastic and intelligent and major bosses. I luckily never saw that show because I probably would have not been able to be attracted to Ashley if I knew her as a baby. I just saw her at a party and I was kind of thunderstruck with the beauty.
Oh, really?
You never watched
twin?
Full House. You never watched Full House? What a liar. Everybody watched Full House. Even if you didn't like it, you watched it.
What were they weren't Stephanie. What was the baby's name?
Michelle.
Yeah.
Melinda Gates is now speaking out about what happened with the whole affair. I don't know if something like the time wore out on a sheet of paper that she signed, because now she is just talking about how, like, upset and just overwhelmed with emotion after Bill Gates stepped out on her.
I had a lot of tears for many days. I mean, days where I'm literally laying on the floor in the carpet, this close to me, thinking, how can this be? How can I get up? How am I going to move forward? And days I certainly was angry. That's part of the grieving process. You're grieving a loss of something you thought you had and thought you had for your lifetime. And at the end of the day, though, I started on this journey of healing.
I can't believe she doesn't have a non-disclosure.
I know. And now she does not use Kleenex for those tears. She uses $100 bills. And therefore, she is winning.
Be it Robert, Courtney, Chloe, or Kim, there's always more news on the Kardashians in the morning.
She is now Kim Kardashian. She dropped the West legally. She is single and ready to move on. Shed herself of that idiot that she has to now co-parent with for, how old's the youngest? 3 years old for 15 more years. But, I mean, he really does, want to make things super hard for her, which is very, very terrible. And the fact that you are so juvenile. All right. Blowing out their candles today, Camila Cabello is 25, Jessica Biel turning 40, and Tone Loc is 50.
Imagine You're rushing home. And this just happened to Kat like a week ago where all of a sudden you're rushing home. You're moving at an incredible rate.
Yeah. And?
The lights come on behind you. And you look down and you were going how far over the speed limit, Kat?
I was going, sadly, 14. And the fact that I think I had my beautiful brown-eyed boy with me and we were hot off a great night, this is where I think officers, are the coolest because they kind of weigh everything. You know, do I really want to upset somebody that lives in the community for them speeding? They haven't had a ticket in a while.
They run your record. You're clean, and they can make a good impression on your kid if they're nice to you, right?
Every cop that we see drive by over the last week, Liam goes, "Is that Officer Gordon? Is that Officer Gordon?"
Look at, he did make an impression.
And he did make an impression. Liam goes, "That was really nice of him, even though you were speeding." I said, "It was my bad 100%. So a lesson was learned by all.
And are you slowing down now?
I did slow down through Becker Township.
See that?
No, I did. Honestly, I'm making a conscious effort.
Let me break this story off for you guys real quick. There's this guy. He's rushing home. He's doing 20 miles an hour faster than the speed limit. Cop pulls him over. He says, "Dude, what is the rush? Why are you in such a rush?" He goes, "I heard Vladimir Putin has pulled out the nukes, and I wanted to get home and see what was going on."
Oh, no. That's almost as bad as our period excuse.
Cop didn't buy it. He got the ticket.
Yeah, because wouldn't you think this person is under the influence of something?
No, he was completely sober. Just going fast. Speeding. And he whipped out there might be a nuclear war breaking out excuse. So I thought, all right, this would be a good chance for you to give me the excuse you used to getting out of a ticket. You were going a little too fast. Cop pulled over. License, registration. What is the big hurry? Jesse, what got you out of the tickets?
I'm so sorry. I forgot that the speed limit changed. I wasn't paying attention. I'm sorry. It worked.
Did you did you use that voice? Maybe that voice was enough to do it.
Yep. The innocent, the innocent girl. "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Oh, I gotcha.
It hurt.
Yeah, that would work.
I really feel like honesty is the best policy. I used the time of the month once when I was in high school. That was it. You can tell that officer did not want to mess with any girl stuff.
You were going how fast?
I was going 14.
Over. And your excuse to get out of your ticket the other night was
that I was just trying to get my little boy home to go to bed. It was 11 o'clock.
Cop said, "I believe you. You're a good human. You didn't have to use the I'm Cat from the radio excuse or anything."
Nope. They just know.
I think there is probably a little bit of a sixth sense there. They know whether you're BSing them or not.
So that I'm famous.
Oh, right. Everybody just knows me. Gotcha.
I'm just kidding.
The story that we were kind of touching on was this guy is blasting his way through the city, and he gets pulled over. The cop goes, "Jesus, man, what is the hurry?" And he goes, "Well, I heard Putin's firing up the nukes. I need to get home and see what's going on."
Kiss my loved one.
I was like, "No, man, that ain't gonna pass." And he got the ticket. So our question for you really is, have you had an excuse that got you out of the ticket? Hi, Brianna. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Do you have a go-to? I mean, do you get pulled over for speeding a lot?
No. Actually, I've never got a speeding ticket. It was actually my son's dad. This was 10 years ago. But I was with him while he was driving, and my son was 4 at the time, and he got pulled over, and he's like, "My son's choking. I wasn't paying attention. He's choking." He looks back like he was going to have his bag, "Tell him you're choking." And he's just sitting there looking little. And
I'm not lying. But that's what I don't agree with. I don't agree that you should bring the kid in to lie to the cops.
Kat, remember the one time you reached back and pinched your kid so he'd start crying so you could get out of the ticket?
You did that.
She did that.
No
Did he end up
way.
getting the ticket, Brianna?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of these
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate your call. A lot of people, new car, not used to the speed limit yet.
Oh, classic.
That can't work, can it?
My boobs are leaking. I need to go feed the baby. That better pass the cop test. Well, you have to get to the baby safely.
Cody, last time you got pulled over for speeding?
Oh, it was about a year and a half ago.
What'd you
I was
use?
actually on my way to church with my kids. I was going 70 and a 55. my speedometer didn't work. I thought I was going the speed limit.
Yeah.
And so he asked me for my license. Didn't even ask me for my insurance. Thank God, because unfortunately I didn't have any at the time.
You are 100% illegal. This is like the whole situation.
And did you use the church as an
Terrible.
excuse?
Yeah, I was, no, so it wasn't an excuse at all because I was actually going to church.
I mean,
and
I guess
he said, okay. No, he said, okay, that sounds good. You have a good day at church with your kids. He said, just do me a favor before you take off and download a speedometer app and be safe.
Wait, there's a speedometer app?
There is.
There's a speedometer app if your speedometer in your vehicle does not work correctly.
It's linked up to your GPS. So therefore, if you're on your GPS, haven't you noticed where it's like your estimated time of arrival is this?
I guess
and then
it
you're
makes
like,
sense.
I'm going to beat that.
I just didn't know. Is it pretty accurate?
Yes. It's hooked up to satellite.
Yeah, I'd say it's within a mile an hour or two.
No way. I didn't know there was such a thing. Yeah. So you and the kids got to church, and he let you go, and you went and you said a couple extra prayers, and then you downloaded the speedometer app on the church's Wi-Fi?
Nope, I downloaded it right on the side of the road before I even pulled on the road.
There it is. Hey, Cody, does your church have a wireless Wi-Fi for you guys to use while you're in church?
Yes.
Ours does too. I think that's the greatest thing about the 21st century is that churches have Wi-Fi.
What's the name to it? Jesus is watching?
Pretty amazing.
Holy Water 1.
You can see everything?
Ready to play and grab that money is my man Ron over here. What's going on today, buddy?
Not much, dude. I just dropped off my daughter, Bella, at school.
Oh.
Hey, did we play with you earlier?
She didn't know that George Washington was our first president.
What? All right. Well, I'm glad he's back now, and he wants to play solo, and he wants to win the money by himself, so you got to give it up for Ron, who's like,
good idea, Ron.
We're running lean today, and it's all me, baby. All right. Well,
she's going to be so mad when I win.
I hope so. We got 3 questions lined up for you, and the goal is to try and figure out exactly how this is going to lay down. So you got 3 questions, and if you get them all right within the amount of time, you get your $100, and your daughter will be severely PO'd. So let's get to it. First question, Ron, always the easiest, but bear in mind, thanks to Sylvan Learning Center, there is no time to Google.
Normally the form of transportation JJ uses to get to work, but what does a witch ride?
A broom.
That's it.
That is correct. That's exactly right. You're right.
You're totally right.
That's got jokes today. All right, question number 2 is you're on your way to a $100 payout. Still got your lifeline, Ron, so don't forget about that. There's no time to Google.
Which land animal can open its mouth the widest?
Lifeline.
Yeah, is this a snake?
It's a hippo.
Oh.
A snake's mouth is bigger than a hippo?
No, I didn't think necessarily. I just thought
a snake too.
Because they can unhinge their jaw. That's what I thought.
A hippo's mouth opens to 3.3 feet wide.
Wow. Almost
Both
as big
of
as
you
yours.
Thought snake, truly?
Take a deep breath and answer quickly, Ron. But remember, there is no time to Google.
How deep is the deepest part of Lake Superior?
Just get close.
1,000 feet.
1,000 feet? Is that even close, Kat?
Within, I would say, do we want to? Here, I'll say it. 1332.
Oh, that's not even close. No.
That is just wrong.
I would have taken 1,300.
Wrong.
Ron.
You're wrong.
Now you have to tell your daughter you failed on your own.
That was like way tougher than knowing what. We both knew what sodium chloride was too on that last
Then
one.
why didn't you say it?
I have no idea. We both panicked.
I know that you had. All right. Well, hey, listen.
Thanks for the try.
Everybody's got to blame Kat because she gets the questions. I'm sorry, man.
I guess we'll talk to you tomorrow.
The Playhouse Podcast is made possible thanks to Bradshaw and Bryan Law Offices. Catch the live show weekdays from 5:30 to 9 on 104.7 KCLD. Now, share this with a friend.